When you're feeling old and weak and you really want to objectively get stronger, this video is all about you. I want to discuss a principle called progressive overload, how to use it, and how to start from a low base and build yourself into something that you never thought you could be. So, this principle is really universally applicable, even though probably if you're watching my videos, you're a dad in your 40s or 50s, maybe a grandfather, and you're just not feeling great about where you are in terms of your strength. Maybe you used to be strong back in your youth, you used to play sports and you haven't in years. Maybe you never ever did and you just are feeling like you'd like to be there for your family more, want to be more functional and get a bit stronger. So I'm going to give you a system that you can use. It's transformed my life completely. And I believe that if you use it, it's very hard to fail. What is critical with this is just to be consistent. So it's not about where you start. It's about that consistency and tracking that consistency. So I'm going to not babble for too long, but just a short bit about where I started. I was in my mid-40s. I was very out of shape. I was extremely weak. I've got stories that I'll go into in another video about how weak I was. But I read a book back then by a guy called James Clear, Atomic Habits. Recommend you read it. And it basically had a little section in it about 2 minutes a day. So it was COVID, it was lockdown, I had nothing to do. I decided to look for an exercise that worked my body, and I did 3 burpees. I couldn't do more. So if that sounds a bit sad to you, it's because it is, and it was sad. Anywho, I decided that I was just going to go and increase my burpees 1 per day. I kept increasing them. My fitness improved. My feeling of health improved. My self-image improved. I started adding some more things. It was still body weight. And eventually, I started to lift weights, do heavier weights, focus on compound movements, and then branch out. But the point of the story is not that. The point of the story is that you don't have to start off strong to get strong. You also, if you're my age, I'm 48, you don't have to compare yourself to a 25-year-old who's taking steroids in the gym. You can actually be a dad, you can be a grandfather, and you can be incredibly strong compared to your peers and just be able to cope with life better. With that said, and enough rambling, here's what to do. Pick your weights and your workout program. If you don't have one, let me know in the comments and I'll help create something for you. But it's really about being a little bit better than you were the last time you worked out and incrementally improving. So how exactly do you do this? And there are a few ways to do it. You can use apps, you can use a piece of paper, you can use a notepad. I personally use an Excel sheet I basically created a table in Excel on my phone and I created some columns. So this is not exactly what you need to do, but this will give you the concepts and principles that you need to use this system. I have a column for the date. I have a column for the day. I have a column for the exercise that I'm going to be doing. You could work it according to body parts, depending on what your goals are. And then I will track my main compound lifts. Now, I don't track every single thing because I do like a little bit of freedom. And when I'm doing some light hypertrophy work, I I tend to just go with a pump, scientific or not. It makes me happy. But when it comes to getting stronger, I believe you need an objective measurement. So my personal system at the moment, and which has been this way actually now for a couple of years, is I track my top set. I'll track so that will literally be a set of 1 rep. I will do 2 sets of 3, and I'll do 5 sets of 5. There's other methods you can use. You can use some common powerlifting methods, Texas method, 5x5. There's a whole lot of different bodybuilding programs. You can find one that works for you. And the important thing is to track it. So the way that I do this is I will input the date, and I will select my compound lift for the day. So I tend to go on a 4-day, sort of a 4-day split for my compound lifts throughout the week, with gaps as work and family allow. And that will be a squat day, a bench day, a deadlift day, and I use a day for dead stop dumbbell rows, just because I enjoy them as a pulling movement, but there's other ways you could do it. And essentially what I do is I will track that top set. So let's say, for example, when I first started, I was weighing, I think at the time, probably around somewhere around 85 kilos, mostly fat. And I could deadlift 60 kgs back then. And then, so I would do, say 60 kgs for the top set. And then for the 2 sets of 3, I would drop it significantly down to 50 kilos. And then for the 5x5, drop it again down to 40 kilos. And mark this on the spreadsheet. And then the next session, come in, not necessarily increase your maximum on the top set, because that can work for a while, and I do it once or twice a month, but I find increasing my base is really what makes the biggest difference. So in that example, I would go, the next session on those deadlifts go from 60 kilo, for the top set 60 kilos, the 2x3, I would add, let's say, 2.5 kilos aside, so make it 5 kilos, see if I could increase by that, and then the same on the 5x5. Sometimes I'll just be feeling too weak and only increase the bottom set, but I would try and make a little bit of progress every single week and work out and basically slowly progress, so that when my base level set had reached close to the 2x3 set, then I would start increasing the 2x3 set. Once that started to get heavy enough to get to my top set, I would then increase the weight on the top set. And I'm not talking about big jumps, I'm talking about slow jumps, and I'm talking about consistency. Now, I've basically, over the last few years, doubled my weight on the deadlift by using this method, pretty much. And that doesn't mean that I'm now a competitive powerlifter. That is not going to be some impressive weight to somebody that lifts big. But I can tell you that as a dad in my late 40s, my goals are to be able to be there for my family, to be strong, to be able to move stuff around the house. If my wife needs me to lift the water cooler and change it, to be able to do that without worrying about injuring my back. If I need to push a car, if I need to run after my kids, if I need to move a gas bottle up some stairs, I couldn't do stuff like that. Now I can do it really, really easily. So what I'm describing to you, I really believe will change your life if you use it. And it's not the only way that you can use the principle of progressive overload. You could look at doing, for example, increasing increasing reps. So let's say, for example, you wanted to get stronger at a goblet squat. Maybe that's the exercise that you've chosen. Maybe you've got issues that prevent you from doing a back squat, or you just don't have the time, or you just don't have the equipment, or injuries, whatever the case may be. You could take that exercise, even if that's the only exercise that you do, and you could increase your reps by 1 rep every session or every week. Once you get, for example, from 5 reps to 10 reps, you could then increase the weight and drop the reps back down. So if I haven't explained this properly, please give me feedback in the comments if there's something that you'd like clarity on. If it's something that you think would help you, but you're not sure where to get started, just drop a comment and I'll try and answer it. If you think the video was good, let me know. If you think the video was horrendous, let me know so that I can do better next time. And keep well. Cheers.